Good day. Welcome. This is your Daily Med with Lady V. Grace and peace be multiplied. Today we are looking at Isaiah and we are looking at his message. And today we are at chapter 2, lesson 2, as it concerns the message that Isaiah brought. And we will see a preview of the Millennial. We will see a preview of what he says about Christ's reign in the future. So we are looking at the Millennial age, and it is about the future house of God. It is from Isaiah chapter 2, verses 1 through verse 5. So it says that the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Now it shall come to pass in the latter days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established on the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow to it. Many people shall come and say, Come, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. He will establish, or he will teach us his ways, and we shall walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He shall judge between the nations, and rebuke many people. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nations shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. O house of Jacob, come and let us walk in the light of the Lord. So in this chapter, we find a millennial scene. Jerusalem is the world center of government and instruction as it concerns God. When Christ comes to reign, Jerusalem will be the world capital and the center of worship. The peace described, for instance, in verse 4, can only come when Christ returns to reign in glory. This is the second vision that Isaiah saw that will last all through chapters 2, 3, 4, and 5. What Isaiah sees in this vision is exactly as it is. We see when it gets to verse 1 and 2, Isaiah sees through all of the troubles, the destructions, and he sees that the Lord gives him this vision because he wants his people to know. So with the vision, it began with an outlook that he could see far beyond this present time. And so he knows that in giving it to God's people, they would have an idea of that which is going to happen. So he sees far beyond the present condition of sin. He sees far beyond the present condition of suffering in the earth, as it is in this day, to which Judah and Jerusalem will be restored. And so it is good to know that God gave him this vision so that his people can have hope that there is coming a day that there is going to be glory in that which seems gloomy, as it were. We see the supremacy that his beloved people Israel will have when they are fully restored to the favor of Jehovah. Jerusalem will then be the center spiritually and politically, physically, as the prophet prophesied. They will then become precious in the earth. She will have no rival in the capitals that now has war that surpasses the human imagination. The Lord will take Israel in that day and restore them to their land, and Jerusalem will be his throne city. In verse 2, it tells us about the mountain of the Lord's house. It shall be exalted above the hills. The mountains is the city itself. This is a common prophetic symbol where the mountains signifies government and the thrones signifies the cities. And Jerusalem will be the city of the great king. As we see in Psalm 48 and verse 2 and St. Matthew 5 and verse 35. He says, all the nations, not some, shall flow into it. In our lesson today in Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2. This is a glorious promise. And because of God's truthfulness and his faithfulness, because of his love, it gives his people hope. Hope that there is going to be a better future than what is at the present time. He also gives us as Gentiles the opportunity to spread the good word or the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Okay? This will also be a wonderful time of peace. When the Bible tells us that the instruments of war will now become farming tools. This will be fully literal in the coming millennial reign of Christ, after the present work of grace has come to an end. When this special work is complete, he will build again the tabernacle of David, Acts 15 verse 6, and through restored Israel, bless the nations according to Isaiah 2 and verse 3. Isaiah 2 and verse 3 says, many people shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we shall walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. So he says, from Zion, his words are going to go out. From Jerusalem, he will rule all the nations in equity and put down every opposing thing. Israel and Jerusalem, though trodden down, though seem to be small, will be the head of all the nations. Never more to lose that place of supremacy, for she shall be established with the Messiah. The time will be coming when the times of the Gentiles will be over. The Lord will settle all the disputes, and nations will not fight or study war anymore. Then the Bible goes on to tell us in verse 4, he shall judge between the nations and rebuke many people. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. So the weapons of war, as we say, they will become agricultural tools. And nations shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. And look at what he says in verse 5. O house of Jacob, come and let us walk in the light of the Lord. Even though distant, even though in the future, God gave this to Isaiah. And it is a message of hope for his people. That one day, things are never going to remain the same as it is. But yes, a day is coming, a glorious day, when Christ himself shall come to earth and reign, and he will reign over all the nations. And there will be peace, because the King of Peace will be in the house. God bless you. Thank you again for watching. Please subscribe. It is free. Like, share, also comment, and continue to visit my YouTube channel, Daily Med with Lady V.